It's the best time of the year.
Welcome back to Zach and Ira's podcast. After a week off, someone was sick last week, and we had to skip it. But we're back this week, ready to get going on 2 weeks of news.
There's a lot of scenarios and stuff like that going on.
Yeah.
But since it's Christmas week, I want to start with a Christmas story, kind of cool little given story. The Javadian Clowney of the Texans, after a loss to the Jaguars last week, had talked about how Blake Bortles was trash. So, Jags fans decided, we're going to send him trash cans. They sent him a bunch of trash cans to the Texans stadium. And Clowney decided to turn it into a positive. So he took all those trash cans and he went shopping. And he bought loads and loads and loads and loads and trucks full of toys. And he he filled all those trash cans with toys, loaded them up on trucks, and brought them to local homeless shelters.
Nice.
So I just thought, in the spirit of the holiday, it was kind of cool, like, to make I guess a negative into a positive. He was joking, like maybe not joking, but people don't think Bortles is all that great.
Yeah.
Although Bortles, if you look up his numbers this year, they're pretty impressive.
He's having a good year.
I thought, hey, that's a good Christmas story. Obviously there's a bunch of giving and lots of charities going on, but for him to take a funny joke and say, all right, you know what? Let's use it.
Yeah.
We've got the platform, do it.
Yep, that was good. That's good stuff.
And then the other crazy story going on in Pats Nation, which is, very odd considering it's the Pats and things like this don't happen. The Pats versus Alex Guerrero. It's bizarre coming from Patriots.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation.
They don't deal with this stuff. Basically Alex was undermining the trainers.
Right.
He was saying, from the stories is that he's blaming the trainers for some of his players getting hurt. You can't be doing that.
No.
They're giving you a privilege to come in there. You're not part of the team. So they cut him off. You're not allowed to fly with us. You're not allowed, he's allowed in the stadium, but he has restrictions now.
Right. Well, the only player he's allowed to work with is Brady.
Yeah. And Brady, Alex is like his binky.
Yeah.
And so Brady actually hasn't looked all that great the last 4 games, and it coincides with Alex hasn't been allowed the last 4 games.
Yeah.
So on one end, Brady is your Hall of Fame quarterback. If he wants this guy around, if he needs something that's stupid to keep him motivated, then somehow they gotta work it out. But Alex needs to shut his mouth.
Yeah.
And not intervene when it comes to the craft, the Patriots doctors.
Yeah.
The thing is Patriots were actually paying a lot of these bills for the players to see Alex Guerrero.
Yeah.
So now they're paying that, and the trainers. Kraft has the right to be like, no, I want this guy gone.
Right.
Right. But he's a big part of the TB12 method. I feel like the guy's kind of a cult leader.
Yeah,
but
he's a little.
Just maybe
a little bit.
They need to work. Like I said, they need to work it out so that they can just get back on the right path.
Yeah, I think he was overstepping his bounds a lot with things. But on the other flip side of that, he's been working with Gronk the past year and a half or so.
Yeah.
And Gronk hasn't been hurt once.
Yeah.
He's been working with Edelman, who did get hurt this year.
Yeah,
so
but that's an ACL. You can't avoid something like that.
Yeah, but he's. It's like not everything works for all players though. Mm-hmm. So his way isn't the end all be all, and he's got to realize that.
But so then, that's a weird story, but I want to go on a cool story. It's Jimmy G.
Yep.
Jimmy G, or as his new teammates are calling him, Jimmy GQ.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
He's tearing it up. He's 3-0 as a starter. He's 5-0, 3-0 as a starter this year, 5-0 overall. I think this could really be a mistake by the Patriots.
Well,
I said it last night, and I've kind of said it before. I didn't want them to trade him and I understood why. Like, I guess he was kind of, you know, we got to get something for him. He's going to leave. We can't pay it back up all this money. I said something last night that my fiance Kelly almost freaked out. I said, you know, maybe they should have let Brady go at the end of the year.
Well,
people might kill me for that, but 10 years of Jimmy Garoppolo,
yeah,
or 2 or 3, 4 more years of Brady.
Right. No, and I agree with that, but I'm not saying that this is the case. But we all know how Bill Belichick's brain works. When's Garoppolo's contract up?
I mean, technically,
This
he's
is
a
his
free
last
agent this
season,
year.
right?
They're gonna franchise him, and
More than
even
likely.
if they don't sign him next year after franchise, they have 2 years of franchising.
Right.
So
but
it'd be 3 years at the least.
here, and how long's Brady got left?
Who knows?
2 years,
Who
3
knows?
years.
2, 3, 4 years.
Belichick's
No one knows his
brain,
contract.
you know, he's gonna send him out there, let him get franchised his 2 years. When he's done with that, Brady's probably gonna be winding out his career. He goes back for Garoppolo.
I don't think 49ers are that dumb though. They're gonna give him a contract.
They're gonna try, but how do you know that he doesn't want to come back to New England?
I don't know.
You know, he liked it here.
I
he didn't like being a backup, but he liked it here.
I joked earlier. I said, you know, Belichick is the evil wizard genius. Like,
He is.
he probably has some way to get him back.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you know like the way contracts and all that stuff works in the NFL, the teams aren't stupid. They're gonna,
Right.
you know, Kyle Shanahan's a new young coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna want to lock up his guy, and if he thinks Jimmy's the guy, and then John Lynch is a young GM, first-time GM, he thinks Jimmy GQ's the guy. He's gonna give him that. They're gonna lock him up. I don't think he's gonna go to a second-year franchise.
I think they're gonna try. Whether he does it or not, I don't know.
I mean, you hand him freaking bunch of guaranteed money, it's gonna be hard for him to turn down.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. The franchise tag is guaranteed money, so maybe he goes with that for 2 years, because that'll probably be more than he would get anyways. Because he still hasn't. I agree. He hasn't lost a game as a starter. He looks great, but he still hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah.
You know. So giving him more than what the franchise tag is a risk. Maybe they go with that for 2 years, because the tag will go up the second year, so he'll probably be in the 28, 24. Well, that's what it is this year. It is next year.
It probably won't go much more above that, maybe 25.
Yeah. So $50 million over 2 years, we'll say.
Yeah.
That's a lot of freaking money.
A lot of money.
It's all
That's why
I
don't think it's getting to the franchise point of the second year. Definitely this year, just so they can get the deal going.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to franchise them and work on a deal.
Yeah.
I don't think, and that deal will probably be 4 years.
Maybe, but we'll see what happens. I think Belichick has something in his mind that's going on that he's going to get him back after Brady retires.
He has his toughest challenge to date this week, though. They're playing the Jaguars.
Yeah.
The Jaguars got a great defense. Do they travel well? Who knows? They're going across country.
Right.
The Jags, they just kind of, I feel like they have that bust factor this weekend. I do.
Yeah.
I feel like they just fall back. You know, they got to go across country. Christmas Day, you know, Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys probably just feel, hey, you know, you want to be home, long trip back the next day, or that night. But actually, if the 49ers win, that helps the Pats.
Yeah.
If the 49ers win, the Pats clinch a first round bye.
Yeah.
And it also will help the Steelers.
Yeah.
So hey, go Jimmy G. And then speaking of the Pats and Steelers, that game on Sunday night was freaking heart attack central.
The end of that game.
I mean, Kelly thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital because I was like, I had like an espresso in my coffee earlier, so I was like losing it. But the game was crazy. I mean, I felt like it was, the Pats came back yet again.
Yep.
They shocked the Steelers. Was it a catch? Wasn't a catch? The NFL, who knows anymore?
Well, by the letter of the law.
Letter of the law wasn't a catch. Eye test, maybe it's a catch. I agree. Kind of agree with the rule, because if that was a catch in the middle of the field and he wasn't touched, and hit the floor and the ball popped out, it's not a catch. So some people are saying, oh, well, he crossed the plane, so they're trying to call that a catch.
Well,
a touchdown. But if you're gonna call it, you can't call it two different ways, whether it's in the field or at the goal line.
Right. Well, if that's a catch in the middle of the field and that ball comes out, that's a fumble. So.
Well, he wasn't touched. So that same scenario. So if he caught that ball in the field, hit the ground with his knee like he did, hit the ground, ball popped out. It was never touched, so it wouldn't be a fumble, and he would have been down. So you can't call it two different ways. So you have to call it consistently, and I feel like the NFL has been pretty good about that over the last couple of years, because it is like, what's a catch anymore? But the Dez catch, the Megatron catch, there was a catch earlier in the season, Cooks against the Houston Texans. It was a similar thing. He caught it, went to the ground, he was pushed to the ground in the end zone. It was a game-winning touchdown for the Pats. Now, that ball never really moved. It looked like it could have moved a little bit. Maybe could have been overturned. But his factor was he caught it in the end zone and then made the move. The other guy didn't catch it in the end zone. Had that been caught in the end zone, it would have been a little tighter. Yeah,
there was also the Kareem Hunt catch this week that seems to go overlooked. I haven't seen it. I've heard about it. Where it was the same thing. He caught the ball and they called it a catch, and then they wound up overturning it, saying it wasn't a catch. So, I mean, and if you ever notice on these two, it's always that way. It's never the other. You know, it's never, well, was it a catch when they called it an incomplete pass? You know,
I mean,
so
things always come up Patriots. It's just, it's their luck. Whatever. No, we didn't pay the refs. But, like, the fact of the matter is, even if that's not a touchdown, right? The Steelers still had 2 or 3 more plays to tie or win that game.
Right, and they
didn't. Malcolm Butler on the next play, it was second down. So maybe the Steelers are a little emotional. The fact is, they're reviewing the play. There's always the chance that it's not a touchdown.
Right.
Instead of calling a play, Mike Tomlin, they're all celebrating like they won the game, and Ben Roethlisberger's over in the corner and he's praying. There's always that possibility that it's not a touchdown. And they should have been, hey, here's 2 plays, go run these 2 plays. If you don't get in the end zone with this play, get in with that play.
Right.
But they didn't. So now it comes to it, not a touchdown. Now that on the fly, they're like, all right, well, we're gonna run this play.
Yeah.
So they run like a drag to, I believe it was Darius Hayward Bay.
Yeah.
He caught a drag across the field, and Butler made a great tackle. Open field, didn't let him get to the end zone. To the sideline to get out of bounds.
Yep.
Clock's ticking. Roethlisberger's, now he's got the ball. He wants to clock it, but the coach is yelling in the sideline, or he's yelling in the headset, don't clock it, let's go for the win.
Right.
So now they don't have a play. Roethlisberger makes a motion to, I believe it was Eli Rogers, and Rogers and Roethlisberger were the only 2 that knew what the play was. No, now you throw a fade, you throw an out to the out. It's either in the corner of the end zone, out of the end zone, or only catchable by your players.
Right.
Not a freaking slant in the middle of the field where you've seen the Patriots win a Super Bowl from this damn play.
Yeah, and there's always going to be a lot more bodies there.
Eric Rowe makes a great hit, and the closer, they call him the closer, Deron Harmon, catches another interception at the end of a game. I don't know why this guy always seems to win situations like that. The Steelers blew it.
Yeah.
They should have won that game. Patch got lucky. But at the same time, on the drive before that, they let Gronk just destroy them down the field.
Yeah. 2 huge plays right down the middle.
That's just, it's insane to me. Gronk just, and then he caught that 2-point conversion and laughed at the guy. It was hilarious. Gronk, when he's going, it's scary.
Yeah. That catch, though, on the other side on the way back, who was it? Was it Schuster?
Oh my God, that was
70 yards?
Freaking out. I almost threw
something there. I was so excited that they pulled ahead and they had the lead. And I'm like, okay, you only got, what was under a minute, right?
It was 55 seconds or something.
So, and I'm like, all right, so just hold them, play back. Don't let them get anything big in the first freaking play. They get 70-yard pass.
The freaking,
come on.
Jordan Richards tries to push him. McCourty missed the tackle. Like, guys, come on. They were playing deep cover. They had a single safety up So they were playing like a cover 2 almost. Like, get back. Have 4 people back. Have, play back. Don't play up. They were playing up.
Yeah.
So he made a couple people miss, and now he's up and to the sideline. They got to catch him.
Yeah.
Play back. Have 4 or 5 guys back. So now everything's underneath you.
Yeah. The only thing that could have hurt them there was a big play.
Yeah. I mean, they let that go because they played up, and now at this point, the guy he's going across the field, and now they're all having to trail him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, they got lucky. They really did get
play.
lucky.
Hey, sometimes it's better to be lucky.
Yeah. I mean, so I wanted to kind of go over playoff clinching scenarios.
Yep.
And I think that's going to replace our Stardom Cinema this week.
Okay.
So I'm going to move on to just the NBA Christmas schedule, which is kind of cool. There is 5 games, I believe. Yep. 5 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Yep. So the first game of the day is the Sixers versus the Knicks. Yeah, Knicks, whatever.
Yeah.
They're in it. They're fighting for a spot. Sixers fighting for it. They have this young talent, but what's going on? They get the injuries. People can't play back-to-back games.
Yeah.
So they're that young up-and-coming team, but who knows what's going to happen. Then you get your finals rematch, your second game of the day. Cavs versus Warriors.
It's gonna be a good game.
Pretty big game right there. It's gonna be cool. NBA's kind of over the last few years made Christmas their big thing, like NFL does on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be interesting to see if some of the ratings come up away because now they have 2 football games on Christmas too.
Yeah.
And then Wizards versus Celtics in a pretty big game. Celtics really need this win after a couple bad losses. I think they play tonight too.
They do.
But they can't allow themselves to get on. They need to beat a good team like the Wizards.
Yeah.
Then 4th game is Rocket versus Thunder. Really good game right there. Rockets only 6 losses in the season. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good right now.
And then the last game of the night, Lakers versus Timberwolves. Timberwolves have a young up and coming team. What the hell are the Lakers?
Yeah. That's a good thing. It's a late game. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like 10:30 at
I
night.
don't have to pay attention.
So
to it
I mean, it's a pretty cool schedule. So I like it.
Yeah, are they staggered time wise? So like one.
Yeah,
ends, next one
everything
starts,
everything
and it's
ends
just
basically.
a constant basketball
Yeah.
day. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I mean, Rockets and Thunder, they're in Texas, I believe, or Oklahoma, one or the other.
Yeah.
So they got the later game. I think that's 8:30 game. And basketball is only 2 hours, which is the beauty of basketball.
Right.
So you can do that. But basically going into the NBA, in the Eastern Conference, the Celtics are still number 1, but they've had a couple bad losses to the Knicks and to the Heat. Oh, Kelly Olynyk going off 32. That makes me upset. But they're already almost halfway through their schedule, and it's not even January yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've had so many either back-to-backs or one game off, one game. Like, they haven't had, like, the one game, 2 or 3 days off, like some schedules.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the Celtics, and then if you look at the Rockets, who actually have moved into second place, virtue of just having only 8 losses, but they've played 5 less games than the Celtics.
Yeah.
Even 3 less games than the Cavs, too. So actually, the Cavs, just by the way that the winning percentage goes, drop down to 3rd. So it's Celtics, Rockets, Cavs right now.
Wow.
And it's only because the Cavs have 9 losses, Celtics have 9 losses, but the Celtics have 2 more games than the Cavs, and they're both wins. Had it been the other way, if one was a loss, actually the Cavs jump up. Cavs have, I think the Cavs are 24-9, and the Celtics are 26-9. And then the Raptors are 22-8. So they have 5 less games.
Yeah.
So they're only technically a game behind the Celtics, percentage-wise, the way it goes.
Yeah.
And then you have, in the Western Conference, the Warriors are in first in the Western Conference with only 6 losses and 26 wins. So they have 3 less games than the Celtics,
Yeah.
I believe. And then the Rockets are 1 game behind them, but they only have 6 losses. They're 25-6. So if you look at the Celtics, they played like more games than anybody in the NBA.
Yeah, that's weird. That's
It's
good job by the schedule makers.
Well, you know what it probably is. A big part is the Celtics share stadium with the Bruins.
Right.
So a lot of games and situations have to be scheduled around each other.
Yeah.
They also use the Garden a lot for concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why the schedule is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then the Spurs are in 3rd in the Western Conference, and they have 22 wins but 11 losses. So they're at 33 games played.
Wow, they got 11 losses already.
Yeah. Well, they haven't had Crying Leonard all
Right.
year up until this last week.
Right.
So
But yeah, so the Celtics play the Bulls tonight, who they've already lost to once. The Bulls have 10
Yeah.
wins.
they gotta beat them tonight. I mean,
I
they're
don't know
gonna.
how they lost. to
They've
them
lost to
earlier.
2 bad. I don't want to say bad teams. I guess. Well, the Knicks haven't been horrible.
Yeah, the Bulls are pretty bad.
Bulls are bad. But you know,
So then,
obviously,
to before we get to the conference stuff for football, I do have one little baseball note, which being the winter, it's tough. Not a lot
Mhm.
going on. But the Yankees are going after Garrett Cole.
yeah, from the Pirates.
Pitcher for the Pirates. He had a great season last year. He's a really good pitcher. If they get him, they got to be the favorites to win the.
They also
series.
re-signed CC Sabathia, which isn't huge, but it's veteran.
That might be a bad idea.
Yeah. It wasn't
But,
a lot of money.
No, it was cheap money. But I mean, since I put this on my list, the talks have cooled down a little bit because he was supposed to be there before Christmas.
Yeah.
Is what they were saying is that it would be done before Christmas. Now they're saying it might be after Christmas, but they're talking that it's still going to happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they get him into that rotation, they already got a pretty okay rotation. If they add him, that'll make it probably a top line rotation at that
I
point.
think since the last time we talked, Otani was signed too by
Yeah.
the Angels.
Was it the Angels?
Yeah, and now it's coming out that he's got a little elbow issue.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm like, God damn. But
These guys-
if he's just gonna hit, then that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't sign him just to hit.
Yeah.
He's a pitcher.
But and then Manny Machado was on the trade block, but
Yeah.
they said that they were pulling him off
because they weren't getting any good offers.
get good offers.
How are you not giving good offers for probably?
They probably
best,
were, but they're probably
best,
looking
one
for
of
the
the
moon.
best young hitters.
They
right?
probably don't want to trade him.
Right.
They were
right.
trying to be blown away.
They're looking to see what they could get for him. Probably the intention was probably never to trade him,
Yeah.
just to test the waters and see what. Because if someone came out, I mean, this would never happen, obviously. But if the Angels went to him and said, "Hey, we'll give you Trout and 3 other guys for Manny Machado," oh, okay, we'll take that.
That would never happen.
Obviously, but just to throw a crazy scenario out there that if something like that came down the pipe, or Washington, where Harper's a free agent next year, if they said we'll give you Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg for Manny Machado, they're gonna take that deal.
Mhm.
But
And the
nothing
other
came
news
through.
that happened over the week, and I was really disappointed, was the Red Sox re-signing, what's his name?
the first baseman.
Yeah.
See, I was alright with that.
Morales.
No,
Not Morales.
no,
Yeah.
Moreland. Mitch
Moreland. Which Moreland?
I was alright with that. I mean,
Oh.
obviously it's not a big splashy move, but it's still a solid middle ground player that you're not going to get stuck with crap at first base now. You can put him out there. He's a major league player. He's not some of these guys who are on the majors just because they can only play defense or something, So I was alright with it, where they didn't get a big first baseman in the market. They could still get Hosmer.
They could have got
He's still out
Hosmer. That pretty much eliminates Hosmer.
I don't think so.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Play them both?
No, you have Hosmer play first and Moreland switch DHing with Hanley if you still have Hanley, because they've been talking about moving Hanley, and they said that there's interest. I don't know who the hell is interested in Hanley Ramirez at his price tag, but
I just think that they're gonna be trash this year, the Red Sox.
that might be by design. They might not have done anything this year because of the free agents coming out next year. They may be saving their money because there were good free agents this year, but JD Martinez is in his 30s. Eric Hosmer
He's only
is
30,
almost
but
30. Next year you got Bryce Harper and Manny Machado, who are both really young players who they might throw them $35 million a year each, because they didn't sign anybody this year. And if you could add one of those bats to your lineup, let alone both, it would just be ridiculous. You know.
Yeah, and remember Adrian Gonzalez, the talks we had over the finals. They he was traded to the Braves and then let go.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So he's actually out there. I think the Giants might be interested in him or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Baseball, I'm a little frustrated with the Sox.
Yeah.
I don't want to say go Yankees because I'm not a Yankees fan, but it's gonna be fun to watch them.
If you said that, I'd have to go hit stop and leave right now.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna be they're gonna be interesting team.
Well, yeah, no, I mean you can say that they're gonna be great and everything, but never say go Yankees.
My father would disown me.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, see, my thing with baseball, unlike other sports, baseball's that's my top sport, so that's the one I can be more patient with. I can be all right with the Red Sox having another crap year this year. As long as next year it's in the plans to make something happen with the big free agents.
I can't. Not with their payroll. Their payroll, they should never be crap.
Well, this year isn't going to be as bad as it's been.
No, they still have one of the highest payrolls.
Yeah, I think they're in the top 5.
They're just spending the money stupidly.
It's money that's been locked up for years, though. A couple of years now.
I mean, they're still paying Manny.
Yeah. But I mean, their pitching staff is strong. David Price, I think, is starting to come around to Boston. Learning how to play in Boston. I still don't think he likes it here, but he's learning how to play here. Chris Sale is one of the best pitchers in the American League.
That's the big thing is they have to lock him up.
Yes.
They have no pitchers in the minor leagues.
Yeah. So I think the Sox will be decent this year. They're not going to win the East. They'll probably come in second. Because the Yankees are going to win the East. I mean, unless they get hit with injuries, there's no way they're not winning the East. And from there, it's whatever. Maybe they make the playoffs as a wild card, maybe not. But I'll be fine with whatever happens this year, as long as next year they do something. If they don't do anything next year, that's when I'll start getting pissed at them.
The winter meetings are basically they're over.
Yeah.
So now this is the big push for the remaining, the free agents to get signed.
Yep.
You still got some people out there.
I mean, Martinez is still available too, so they might still
out
get
there.
him.
Martinez is out there.
I hope they don't, though. I really hope they don't.
Pitcher Yu Darvish is still out there.
Yeah, he's so up and down. He's very much hit or miss.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We'll see what happens now.
Yeah.
But that's all I have for baseball today. I don't really have any. Bruins have been doing really good.
Yeah.
They're looking pretty good. Hockey's, hockey's one of the sports that takes a Christmas break.
Yep.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Yep.
They understand their players are all over the world.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, hockey's not a sport that I really pay a whole bunch of attention to anyways, so.
I do, after this. I start to really pay attention after Christmas, when football's winding down.
When we get to the playoffs, whether the Bruins are in it or not, I'll watch a little bit, but even at that point, even if the Bruins are in it, I'm just not a hockey guy. I think it's because I never played it and I was never able to play it.
Yeah.
I couldn't ice skate, so.
Yeah, I never skated, but.
And I'm big into, if I play it, I like it and I enjoy watching it. So that's why I like football and baseball. And I mean, I never played organized basketball, but I always played basketball.
Yeah,
so,
everyone plays
you
basketball.
enjoy that. That's probably the best game for pickup, is basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So, those I watch. I just don't play hockey.
But, so that's the sports news for the week that we have.
All right.
Instead of start sitting this week, we're going to go over playoff scenarios. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So, as I discussed, I wanted to go over football playoff scenarios or clinching scenarios. A lot can happen. Some teams can't clinch at all this week. Some teams need a lot to happen, like the Cowboys.
Yep.
The Cowboys need the Seahawks. Well, they need to beat the Seahawks. They need the Lions to lose and the Falcons to lose twice. Yeah, it's going to be
Two of those things could happen. I don't know about the Falcons losing twice, the way they've been playing.
So, as I discussed earlier, the Jags loss. If the Jags lose, that is big for two teams, the Patriots and Steelers.
Yep.
It will allow them both to clinch a first-round bye with, I believe it's a win as well. Pats clinch home field throughout with a win and a Jag loss. they clinch a first round bye if either Pitt or Jags lose. They don't both have to lose, so one or the other loses. Pitt clinches a first round bye with the Jags loss. They don't clinch with the Pats loss because the last week of the season, if Pitt
goes
loses,
the other way around,
yeah. Jags clinch AFC South with a win or a Titans loss, which would be crazy. The Jags haven't made the playoffs in a while.
Yeah.
I think it's been 10 years or so. Maybe close to that. I'm a Titans fan, so kind of I like the Titans, but they have a tough matchup this week against the Rams. KC clinches AFC West with a win or a Chargers loss. Doesn't have to be either or.
Yeah, they'll clinch it. They'll clinch it eventually. I mean, either this week or next week. I mean, I got 2 weeks for either of those things to happen. So.
Chargers aren't eliminated from the playoffs with KC win. They still have a chance if they win out.
Right.
And the Bills and the Titans and the Baltimore loses.
I'd like to see the Chargers in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're fun. They're a good team. I feel like that 0-4 set is what killed them.
Yeah.
And they were in every game. Titans clinch a playoff berth with a win in a Baltimore or Buffalo loss. Both very possible. Baltimore has an easier schedule.
Buffalo's probably going to lose tomorrow, so.
Well, I hope so. Baltimore actually has an easy schedule. They have, out of the 3 teams that are fighting for the 2 wild card spots, or the 4 teams, I guess you would say, between Baltimore, Titans, Chargers, and Buffalo.
And Bills, yeah, that's crazy.
They haven't been in the playoffs in 20 years.
And they're not even any good.
No, I mean, they got a good defense.
It's okay.
But Baltimore has the easiest schedule out of all of them. Baltimore has the Indy and the Browns.
Yikes.
So it's like...
So the other 3 are fighting for the other spot?
Yeah. But anything can happen.
Yeah.
Flacco could get hurt tonight, you know.
We can only hope. I mean...
So I'm actually hoping the Titans have the hardest one today. They play the Rams, and then I believe they play the Jags. Titans still have a shot at the AFC South. If they win out and the Jags lose out, Titans win and get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I believe Jags will be the wild card at that point, most likely. They still have a chance to actually miss the playoffs if they lose out.
Crazy if that happened.
Yeah, it's all crazy scenarios. That's why I like talking about these things, because they're like anything can happen. Like really, there's only in that I did a write up the other day about the NFC. Their playoff picture. There's 9 teams with over 500.
Yeah.
In the AFC, there's only 7. But in the NFC, you still have the Packers that are also 7-7, so they could finish over 500.
Rodgers went back on the IR.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, they have a big game tonight. Packers versus the Vikings with big playoff implications.
Yeah.
Packers have been eliminated, but the Vikings still have a lot to play for. So in the AFC, you have essentially 7 teams still fighting. Maybe 8 if you count the Chargers. Only 6 make it. Honestly, I have a feeling there's going to be... It's very possible because the Bills actually can lose to the Patriots and win next week and they're in. So it's kind of interesting. The Titans control their own destiny. They win out, they're in. Bills win out, they're in. Baltimore's out. So Titans and Bills both win out. Baltimore's on the outside no matter what. They can finish 10-6 and still be out. Just the way that the seeding's working.
Right.
So it's going to be crazy for that last spot. Really, the top 3 are already locked in. KC's most likely going to win one of these last games to clinch that spot.
Yeah.
So, and they play in Miami. Kenyon Drake has been a beast, but they're 6-8. Pitt, on the other hand, are they going to have a mental lapse after that loss to the Patriots? Now the coaches
see that.
Oh, I would love to see that. They're playing Houston. Houston maybe they just show up.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean,
I doubt it, but
it's possible. They got good players.
Yeah. I mean, it just is a lot to do still. I really hope to see Pitt always loses when they do lose to bad teams.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they have that little lapse after they're blaming the coaches and the coaches are blaming the quarter. Like, they're all blaming each other for the loss. They're blaming the refs. They're not blaming what they did wrong, you know. So they always have that mental lapse. So it'd be pretty cool for them to lose, hopefully. So that's AFC playoff, scenarios. Pretty much every team that I did not mention have been eliminated. There's about 7-8 teams still fighting. And in that case, I think the Chargers are eliminated with any of the top 3 teams getting a win for that last spot.
Yep.
And in the NFC playoff scenario picture, the Eagles have already clinched the NFC East and a first-round bye. So, actually, tonight's game of the Vikings versus the Packers are huge. If the Vikings lose, no matter what, the Eagles clinch home field advantage. The Eagles also clinch home field advantage with a win.
Yeah.
They're playing the Oakland Raiders on Monday night. Possible. Minnesota clinched the NFC South North. They can clinch a first round bye with a win or a Panthers loss. So that it's still possible. The Rams, another team. So it's like all teams that are like, wow, these teams haven't been in.
Right.
Now, if Rodgers doesn't get hurt, he's probably fighting Minnesota. Minnesota maybe, they're a good team. I think they're a good team, but the whole NFC would have been different. Like, the NFC has 9 teams over 500 right now. Yeah, you're gonna have
weird.
3 teams miss the playoffs with a winning record. Possibly 4 if the Packers could win out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rams clinched the NFC West with a win or a Seahawks loss. They're playing the Titans. Titans coming off a couple of disappointing losses.
Mm-hmm. I like the Rams.
I love the Rams. They got a good young team. The Seahawks are on a downslide.
Yeah.
How about this? The Seahawks versus the Cowboys tomorrow loses out of the playoffs.
Wow.
No matter what. Imagine that, Seahawks out of the playoffs. They don't even have a chance at the wild card if they lose.
Yeah. I mean they've been real.
They haven't had
though. So
they haven't had a good. They haven't been the Seahawks, but to
Their
not see them in the playoffs is kind of a kick in the nuts.
Right. The best part of their team though, their defensive backfield is just gone.
So the Rams clinch a clinch the NFC West with a win or a loss by the Seahawks. They also clinch a playoff berth with a loss from the Lions, Panthers, or Falcons. So they have because I think they're 10-3, or 11-3. So they have
who's that?
The Rams.
The Rams.
So they have a lot of
chances.
chances.
Panthers for some reason.
No, the Panthers are 11-4. So or 10-4. I think 10-4. 10-4. Rams are 11-3.
Yeah.
So Rams are they're fighting. They're in. The Panthers, actually the Saints, clinched the NFC South with a win and a Panthers loss. They clinched a playoff berth with a win or a tie from Dallas and Seahawks. So the Saints can just, I think the Saints, they're playing, I believe they're playing the Falcons. Saints versus Falcons? Saints versus Atlanta. That's a big game. Atlanta can win out, and if they actually have the Panthers and New Orleans lose out, Atlanta has a chance at that at the division.
Yeah.
But with the win, they clinch the division. Panthers clinch a playoff spot with a win. Falcons clinch a playoff spot with a win. And then that's leaving this week could very much basically end 3 playoff hopes for the Cowboys, the Lions, and the Seahawks. So it's kind of interesting the way so if like I said, if the teams win, like obviously the Falcons are playing the Saints.
Yep.
Falcons win. Saints are still 10-5. Falcons are 10-5. The Panthers have a pretty easy game against the Bucks.
Yeah.
They win that, they're in anyways, and then that pretty much sends one of those three teams that are 8-6 packing. So the Lions,
Raiders?
Cowboys, Lions, Cowboys, and Seahawks are all 8-6.
Yeah.
So that last two spots, basically between them three and the Falcons, because I think the Panthers pretty much have a lock on it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting just to say, like, there's so many different scenarios to happen.
Yeah.
And on the NFC side.
Yeah. This is always the most fun time of year for football, anyways. When they start getting into that kind of stuff.
So definitely gonna be a interesting push. Obviously, there's gonna be some teams that are gonna miss the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
With that, you don't usually see miss the playoffs. The Seahawks, the Packers.
Yeah, well, I mean, but both of those teams make sense because obviously Aaron Rodgers' injury that eliminates him from the playoffs. What was that, week 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I mean, Detroit can win out and be 10-6 and miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Packers win their last 2 games. They're 9-7. 9-7 is not the greatest. Sometimes gets you in the playoffs, but you could possibly have 2 10-6 teams if both the Lions and say the Cowboys win out and they can miss the playoffs.
Yeah, that's crazy,
right? And then the last week of the season, I believe it's I believe one of them play the Bucks anyways. I think it's either the Falcons or the Saints play the Bucks. So someone's getting in easy over there, So that's the playoff scenarios. It's a fun time of year. A lot can happen. The Steelers are without Antonio Brown for at least the rest of the season. So they could be reliant too much on him. If I was going to do a start sit him this week, I was telling you to pick up Martavis Bryant. But
I picked him up.
I tried. I missed out on him.
I picked him up. Speaking of fantasy though, how'd you do last week?
I snuck in.
Yeah.
I snuck in. I had 3 starters all go down with injury. I had a huge lead. This kid forgot to take Fournette out because he was a late scratch.
Yeah.
And I was watching it for the last hour. I said, yes, don't put him in, and he missed out. So he was a late scratch. But the first drive of the game, I have Marquise Lee. First couple drives, he gets hurt and he's out. So now we're both with the goose egg.
Yeah.
And the kid Dana, my buddy, was saying, "Oh well, congratulations!" But then Lee got hurt. But I have some nasty running backs. They all put up a bunch of points. I had a huge lead, but all my games were pretty much over by the 4 o'clock game. Besides 2 players, Antonio Brown and Rex Burkhead, who both got hurt. So now this kid had all his players, and very well should have beat me.
Yeah.
He should have beat me. But going into Monday night, he needed Derek Carr had a pretty good game against the Cowboys. He needed Julio Jones just to get 12 points in a PPR league, which is nothing in a PPR league.
Right.
By halftime, he had 8 points. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Because in this league, the only 2 teams that win money are the 2 top teams.
Yeah.
It's not like a third place thing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to bed. No big deal. I woke up at like 11:30 to actually go up to my bed, and I looked at my phone. Game was over. Julio Jones only had 8 points. I was like, yeah! So I snuck in the playoffs by 4 points.
That's awesome.
And with 3 of my starters all injured.
Yeah.
And they are not coming back this week, so I had to pick up all new players basically for the championship game. So it's kind of sucks. I at least won my money back.
That's good.
It was very close possible I win, but we'll see. The other guy has a couple injuries too. And then my other money league, I was in last place 5 weeks ago now, and I've lost since, and it snuck me in the playoffs at 7-7.
Yeah.
I beat the number 3 seed, and now I'm in the championship round to go to the championship next week.
Nice.
Because it's a 17-week. Yeah,
That's
tough. It's tough.
That's tough.
So if I win this week, no matter what, I still have a chance to win my money back for 3rd place.
Yeah.
But if I win this week, I win win more money.
Nice.
So I'm looking good.
That's good.
How about you?
I was in both semifinal games last week in my 2 leagues. I only played 2. One of them I got blown out, the Taunton League.
Yeah.
I got kind of blown out in that league. In my other league, I went into Monday night down 24 points or something like that, and we have individual defensive players. We each had one of those going. I like it a lot.
I've tried it before. It's hard.
I like it. But we both had an individual defensive guy going, and I had Devontae Freeman. I'm like 20, I think it was like 24 points, whatever it was. Like, that's a lot of points. I'm like, I don't think I can catch him. And, you know, my buddy Jay, he texts me, he's like, good luck in our game. And I'm like, you're so far ahead of me, I have no chance of catching you. So he's like, yeah, but I only have Neil playing on defense, and I had Freeman, and I forget who my defensive guy was that was playing. But I'm actually looking now to see if I can remember who it was. Oh, Jones from Atlanta. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a big spread to pick up on. So I'm watching the game, and Devontae Freeman started going off.
Freeman had
He
a good
just
game.
went off.
It helped me because
I wound up. My defensive guy got 4 points more than him. Jones had 12. Neil had 8. But Freeman last week had 20. What was it? 25.4 points last week. I wound up winning by just over a point. So I snuck into the championship game
awesome.
this week.
Is it a money league?
No, it's for fun.
That's cool
But
though.
you get bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
But now this week, I've got I think the 5th place team is who I'm playing for the championships, which is weird because I finished 4th. Oh no, he finished 6th. So it's the number 4 and number 6 team playing against each other for the championship. It's pretty cool, but I think I can get it. I'm projected to win. Projections don't always happen because last week I was projected to lose by like 20 points. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can pull it off.
I hope so. Good luck.
Yeah,
everyone in the championship round this week. Good luck to you.
Good
Hope
luck.
you win some money. And unfortunately, in leagues that go 17 weeks, gotta wait another week.
Yep,
But
still good luck.
Good luck.
It's tough. It's tough. But
no
alright,
lock of the week this week.
Yeah. So that's it for sports in general. We're gonna move on to TV and movie news.
Sounds good.
So this week's TV and movie news. There's not a whole lot with all the shows that we watch pretty much on winter break.
Yeah.
You know, we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents
still
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
going.
still going, and they don't really take a break. That's been pretty good.
Yeah, I've missed the past 2 weeks. That's been so crazy for me these past couple weeks. Once I get past the holidays, I'll be able to catch up on anything I need to catch up on.
I did not watch last night.
No? Good.
Less
for you to know.
Yeah, I actually have next week off
Yeah.
for Christmas, which
Nice.
is great.
Oh, right, you work at a school.
Yeah, so I got next week off, and my buddy Powers actually let me. He's let me use his Hulu.
Ah.
So thank you, Powers.
Nice.
He watches us. He likes the podcast.
Very good.
Powers, thank you. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna try
Thanks
to watch.
for watching too.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch The Runaways, and then he had just wrote that The Legion's on there now.
Yes.
And I never watched Legion.
Really?
I watched 3 episodes.
It's a good show.
So if I have time next week.
Weird show, but it was good.
So next week I'm gonna try and catch up on Legion.
Yep.
And The Runaways.
Runaways is really good. I mean, I'm not going to give you any spoilers because I don't like to do that except, you know, on the podcast.
Yeah.
When it's something you already know. But Runaways has been very, very good. It's a little slow moving, but it's okay for the show to be a little slow moving.
Yeah.
I think that they put a lot of good story into it.
Yeah, and not too long after Christmas actually, Black Lightning premieres.
Yeah,
So
Black Lightning's coming up soon.
we got a little bit.
I've seen the previews for that, and I'm not liking the outfit.
Yeah, it
I
looks
mean,
interesting.
That doesn't take away from the show because I don't know how good the show's going to be, but the outfit, it's not that great. But the thing with Runaways is Dr. Doom's in it, not the character of Dr. Doom,
The guy that
but
played him.
Julian McMahon. Is that his name? I think.
Yeah.
He's in it, and he's pretty good in it. I like him as an actor. I mean, even when he played Dr. Doom, I liked him as the actor. They just did a terrible thing with Doom. You know, it was just terrible.
I got a couple Arrow news.
Oh.
Arrow, the guy that that plays Roy Harper,
Yep.
is going to be in the show.
Yeah, he's 3 episodes, I think.
Yeah,
something
and
like
then
that.
it's actually funny. Thea in one of the last episodes was at the wedding. Was at the wedding for Arrow and Felicity, and she kept looking at the door, and he goes, "Oh, what are you looking for, Wild Dog? What are you looking at the door for?" And she goes, "Oh, I just thought an old friend would show up."
Yeah.
When that was a reference to him.
That was the Flash wedding, right?
No, it was the Arrow.
I haven't watched the season finale yet.
Oh,
I didn't actually have a ceremony.
It was just a ceremony. It was
but,
just a ceremony.
yeah.
So I won't say anything else besides that. But they.
I actually forgot that was sitting on my DVR.
Yeah, you better catch up with that. It's been a couple weeks. You're almost
I know.
past that.
I completely forgot that it was on there.
Spoiler, that's your own fault. But the other thing that kind of disappointed and it came out was, like they did before, Arrow's no longer allowed to use Deathstroke again.
Really?
Yeah. DC basically told them, like, they give them Windows, so Suicide Squad aren't allowed to use again.
Right.
I don't understand why. It's probably because the Justice League movie.
Right. Well, he's also going to be in the Batman movie.
Yeah, so it's just kind of disappointing that that they do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully that was pretty cool ending for him, but I'd love to see that guy back.
Yeah,
You know?
I like him.
But that's really the only news I have.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing for the movies is Star Wars The Last Jedi premiered in our week off.
Yeah, we missed it.
I've heard mixed reviews. I haven't seen
Oh,
it
you haven't
because
seen
of
it
the
yet?
mixed reviews that I've been hearing.
It's worth seeing.
I usually go to Star Wars opening night. I couldn't get tickets. I tried, like, for 2 weeks prior. I mean, I only go to one theater. I'm very picky with my theaters.
I got it opening day.
I couldn't get them at my theater because the theater is, there's like 16 screens, but their theaters themselves are the same size as others, but the capacity is less because they've got the big leather reclining seats and all that, so they can't hold as many as a lot of the other theaters can. I went on, and I mean, they weren't completely sold out, but I wasn't sitting in the first 2 rows.
Oh, hell no.
Last time I did that was during Anaconda. Never do it again. I almost broke my neck watching Anaconda. It's a very fast-paced movie. Not that it was a great movie. It was okay, but it wasn't a good movie. But that doesn't take away from the fact that during that movie, when you're in the front row, you're sitting going like,
oh yeah,
like you're watching a tennis match, you know.
No.
So I'll never do that again.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
There was a little bit disappointing things, but
I've already heard all the spoilers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's worth a watch.
yeah,
It's,
I'll see it. And actually, I was thinking about going tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You know, Candace is out at 6 out of work. Maybe we'll go.
it's worth it. I kind of want to watch it again just for some of the things that I've read about it.
Yeah. And we
mean,
go for free. We got an AMC gift card, so if I go watch it for free
Nice.
and
There
it
you
sucks,
go.
I'm not as upset as if I paid
Yeah.
for it.
it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck. There's some things that are disappointing.
Yeah.
But
See, what I've heard is it's a great movie. It's not a good Star Wars movie. That's pretty much a criticism I've heard about.
well, at the same time, these same people complained that it was too much like the first movies, so this movie was taking a chance.
Right, and it tried to be different. Right.
And people complaining.
Yeah.
And some of the things that happen, they're kind of trying to, be their own thing. So you just gotta watch it for what it is.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars movie, but it's trying to be different. It's not trying to not be Star Wars. It's trying to be different. It's trying to go in its own direction, its own storyline, so that these new characters that they can use for years to come, and not have that weight of the older characters on their shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
But so that's it for the TV and movies this week for as far as current stuff. Well, previous stuff. Now, I'm just gonna move right into Friday's movie releases. There's a lot of them this week. There's 5 that are going to be big. First one on my list is the new Matt Damon movie, Downsizing.
Yeah, it looks weird.
Looks interesting. I don't think I'll see it in the theaters, but it's definitely a movie I want to watch.
I like Damon,
eventually.
but I like him in action movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting concept, to create a whole world that's just small. You shrink yourself and everything, like, they show them getting this, I think it's vodka out of this giant bottle, and his one little drip fills their glass, and they can just drink, like, so it's pretty interesting to see that kind of world and see what they'll do with that. The second one is a movie I will never see because I never saw the first 2. is Pitch Perfect 3.
Yeah.
Not my scene. Sorry. I know many people love them. There wouldn't be 3 of them if they didn't. But it's just not my thing, and I won't watch that. The third one is actually a movie I'm extremely interested in seeing, and I might go see this tomorrow night instead of Star Wars, is The Greatest Showman.
Interesting.
It's about P.T. Barnum, Wolverine there, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
He plays P.T. Barnum, and it's kind of a musical, it looks
It's got
like.
Zac Efron on
Yeah,
in it.
yeah, Zac Efron's in it. It looks really good. I mean, I'm also a huge Hugh Jackman fan. You know, I like most of his movies. I went and saw Les Miserables in the theaters because he was in it. So it was that. See, you know, I actually enjoyed that movie. But so this one I might go see tomorrow. I don't know.
That's cool.
The fourth movie on the list I've actually already seen.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you how that was.
I was able to get a pre-screening for Jumanji. Might be the best rock movie in a long time.
Really?
Yeah, it was good because his character in that, if you've seen the previews, you know that the 4 kids get sucked into the game and they show it from there instead of it being people outside the game. You know? So they get sucked into the game, and The Rock's character in the real world is this nerdy Jewish kid. So The Rock has to basically play a nerdy Jewish 13-year-old kid, but he looks like The Rock. And he does a really good job with it. He is super funny. Kevin Hart's in it. Kevin Hart's always a riot. He's got, you know, and those two together, I don't know if you saw Central Intelligence.
Oh, I love that movie.
That's
what I was going to say when you said
that
this is one of the better rock movies. Like, Central Intelligence was
I
awesome.
liked Central Intelligence too, but I like this better. Jack Black is excellent in this movie. He has to play basically he's the body, and his personality is a 13-year-old social network obsessed girl.
13-year-old? Because they look like they're all high school.
Somewhere around.
I think they're all high school.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because but social network obsessed girl.
Yeah.
Teenager. It's
She
like
sees
and he
herself.
does awesome with that too, and the girl that plays Nebula, whom I can never remember her name, Karen Gillan.
Yep.
She's really good in this too. She plays Ruby Roundhouse is the character name.
She looks hot too.
But her character, or the person she's playing, is she's like a very introverted girl. Like she's acts like she's tough. She doesn't like boys and all that stuff. But she's
tomboy.
Yeah, and definitely not what you look at Karen Gillan and say, okay, that's what she is. But Kevin Hart's character is really good too because he plays this big, jacked football guy, real tall, real masculine, and Kevin Hart, as you know, is really small. But I mean, the movie is funny. It's a good story. The guy from Ant-Man who played the stepfather to Scott Lang's daughter, he plays the bad guy in this.
Really?
I can never remember his name either. But he plays the bad guy in this, and he does a good job. One of the Jonas Brothers is in it.
That's funny.
Yeah, he shows up like halfway through the movie. That might be
I feel like
a little bit of a spoiler.
I feel like there's a lot of
once you start seeing
like
the movie.
people that could be in that movie that you didn't expect to be in the movie.
Right. And there's actually a really good throwback to the original in there that you pick up. It was a little later in the movie, about halfway through. They reference the fact that the other movie exists.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not like it's a complete remake. It's actually a continuation, and it's really good. So I definitely suggest going out and seeing that movie. It's definitely worth seeing in the theater too. Because I mean, I always prefer to see action movies in the theater. I just think it brings a better feeling of the movie. You know what I mean? I mean, I got the surround sound at home and the big TV or whatever. So I mean, it's all right to watch at home too. I mean, I just watched Iron Man again yesterday.
Oh,
for some
yeah.
reason. I don't know why. But so anyways, that's Jumanji. And the last one I don't really know a lot about. I'll be honest, I didn't even research it too much. It's called Father Figures.
Yeah, it's got Owen Wilson.
Yeah, it's
Terry Bradshaw.
Yep.
The guy from oh my God, is it the guy from the dentist from Hangover maybe?
Let's see. Oh, J.K. Simmons is in it.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons, Ed Helms, Cat Williams, Owen Wilson, Terry Bradshaw, Ving Rhames, Christopher Walken, and Glenn Close.
Yeah.
It's a really good cast.
It looks
really
kind of
is.
funny
but-
because it's got the characters to be funny.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's a movie I watched at home.
Right.
On
Exactly. That's
on Netflix or either Redbox.
Right. That's where I am with that one too. But yeah, so that's all the movies coming out this week. And then, since this goes into this category, I'll just start my top 10 now.
Melikilikimaka is a thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day.
This week's top 10 is the top 10 Christmas themed movies. There are hundreds of these.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be a couple movies that aren't on here because they're before my time, and honestly, I haven't watched A Miracle on 34th Street. I know it was a really popular movie and supposedly a really good movie. Movies like that aren't on there.
White Christmas.
White Christmas is
I have
another
to
one.
watch it every year. Boo.
There's also movies not on here just because I plain don't like them. One of them being A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
I'll
be honest with you. I'm not a huge Christmas movie guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they have to be up my alley.
There's only a few
Just
that
be
I
about
actually
Christmas.
like.
Yeah.
Like Santa Claus and.
Yeah. Well, number 10 is a movie that most people don't like. They think it's stupid.
I love it.
I enjoy it. It's Jingle All the Way. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's a father. He's trying to get his kid Turbo Man for
Put down that cookie.
Christmas. And Turbo Man's the big popular toy. It came out at the height of that, where there was always that big popular toy, Tickle Me Elmo, stuff like that. It was that time period that this movie came out. So it was a big topic to put a movie out on. And Sinbad in this is super funny. Arnold Schwarzenegger's a riot.
I watch it every Christmas because
I tend to as well. I don't watch it to watch it. I watch it because I'm flipping through channels and it's on. It's like, all right, I gotta watch it.
It's Turbo Man.
It's
a funny movie.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. Number 9 is another funny movie, Four Christmases.
I don't remember that one.
That's Vince Vaughn. And,
yeah.
What's her face? I can't remember her name. But they got to go to the parent. Both of their parents are divorced, so they have to go to all 4 of their houses.
Oh, it's like my life.
But I really think it's a funny movie. I like Happy Hogan from Iron Man. He plays one of Vince Vaughn's brothers.
Yeah.
And
Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau, right? He is so freaking funny in that movie.
I like him a lot.
I mean, the movie itself in general is just funny. Reese Witherspoon, that's his name.
it is.
But they pretend that they're going away on vacation, or no, they're gonna go away on vacation. I think.
Everyone gets mad.
I don't remember the beginning of it, to be honest, because that's not the funny part. The funny part is later. But it's and then they wound up being found out or something that they didn't really go, so now they got to go to everybody's house. But that was it was a super funny movie. Number 8 is a classic, My Childhood. It was actually out before I was born, but it's something that I think they still show it to this day. Every year. Is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Don't really need to get into much about what that's about. It's pretty obvious. It's about Rudolph, being found by Santa. Well, not found by Santa, but being used by Santa eventually to lead his sleigh.
What's the other one that he was in? He was in
Island of the Misfit Toys?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was pretty.
Yeah. So that's that. Number 7 is Home Alone. Another classic, movie for, my time. Macaulay Culkin is great in that movie. I mean, he's been in other stuff, but that's like his best movie ever. The bad guys are super funny at it. But he just wrecks them. And you kind of start feeling bad for them after a little while. Like, how stupid can you really be?
Oh, yeah.
Just give up. But they just keep going. Number 6, again, is an older one. The original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, not the Jim Carrey abomination that came out.
Yeah, I watched it last night.
It was okay, but it was just not. I mean, the only reason why I didn't like that so much is because I'm such a fan of the original. Dr. Seuss is classic. Anything he does is pretty much gold. And The Grinch is one of those movies. Number 5 is the original Santa Claus with Tim Allen, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 93 or whatever the hell they're up to now. They started to get pretty bad. But well, I still watch them though. I'm a sucker for Tim Allen,
I only seen the first two.
But the first one was great. You know, with all just even like the little, like the puns, like the ladder, the Rose such a ladder company. You know, things like that. It's cute. It's a good movie. It's fun to just sit there and watch it and just imagine. You know, what if someone actually became Santa because Santa died on a roof, you know, or falling off a roof. But it's cool, and once they get up into the North Pole with the elves and stuff, it gets pretty funny. Number 4 is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Didn't this come out during Halloween though?
It may have, but it's still a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Because you know it's about them going to Santa's
when they say
world
Christmas,
and
yeah,
stuff.
it actually might have came out around Christmas.
So
it's
I mean, it's a great movie. Jack Skellington is popular still to this day as a character.
Oh my God.
His stuff is everywhere.
Halloween, people still dress them up.
Yeah. So I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is a really, really quality movie. Number 3, Scrooged. I had this on my Thanksgiving release day movie list as I think it was number 2 or something. But Scrooge it's just an awesome movie. You know, Bill Murray at his best. You know, you got all the supporting characters were great. It's about, you know, a Christmas Carol, you know, where it becomes real, even though they're making the movie a live TV show, A Christmas Carol. It actually happens to him where he gets the ghosts to visit him and stuff like that. But great movie, you gotta see it. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check that one out. Number 2 is Elf. With Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
One of the funniest movies, period. Not just Christmas movies. I mean, I'm a Will Ferrell fan though, so I mean, a lot of people that don't like him may not like this movie.
Do not like Will Ferrell, but I've learned to like some of his movies. Lately.
Yeah, but Elf, it's great. You know, he's Buddy the Elf. He was adopted at birth by the elves in the North Pole. By the elves of the North Pole and Santa Claus. He's raised by them, and then he gets older and he wants to go find his birth father. And he finds out his birth father's on the naughty list and all that, and he just goes nuts about that. But he still wants to go find him, and his father's James Caan.
It's got Tyrion in it.
It's just one of the best scenes in the movie. Call me Elf one more time. But that's the other thing about the movie is there's a couple of good quotable scenes in there too.
Side note, the WWE, I know you're a wrestling fan.
Yep.
Braun Strowman just reenacted the Elf movie in a WWE video.
I gotta go see that. I have to go see
he's talking,
that.
I think it's Noah Duam or whatever the cruiserweight is.
Yep.
And they're doing that scene where he goes, "Call me Elf." So, side note, watch that. It's kind of creepy as hell to see this big giant dressed up as an elf.
But yeah, so and you know, he gets to New York, and you know, he has no idea how the real world really works, and you know, his father doesn't want anything to do with him, and then eventually he lets him come into the family, and it just becomes a good family movie at that point. But it's just super funny the whole time. And the number 1 movie, I mean, it might be a surprise to some, but it won't be a surprise to most, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The best Christmas movie ever made. I think any of the vacation movies are good. This is the best one out of all of them. And Chevy Chase is amazing in this movie. Everybody in this movie is good. Just there's nothing bad. I can't think of one bad thing about this movie.
I can't even think about the movie. I know the movie. I don't think I'm going to watch it.
Are you kidding?
I told you I'm not a huge Christmas guy movie.
Yeah, but this transcends Christmas movies. It's more than just that. This is my opinion, most quotable Christmas movie out there.
I got a bone to pick with your Christmas list though.
And then I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, there's not enough I can say about Christmas Vacation.
Maybe I'll watch it someday.
You better.
But my bone to pick with your list is Die Hard's not on it. Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Not a Christmas
it's
movie.
a Christmas movie.
I have this discussion with so many people.
It's a Christmas
to me,
movie.
It's not a Christmas movie.
It's
Even if it was,
it's the only Christmas movie I want to watch.
Even if it was, then I don't even know if it had made the list for me over this.
What?
I wasn't the biggest Die Hard fan.
Oh!
You know, it was a good movie, good action movie.
It's the only Christmas movie I can watch.
But yeah, no, it's not a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas. It's not a Christmas movie. Those are two completely separate ideas.
But that's
yeah,
that's a
so-
good list.
Yeah, so that's my top 10. From there, we'll just move along to the gaming spotlight.
A jackal! Jackal! It's a jackal! It looks like a jackal! 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 It's a jackal! Jackal!
All right, so this week's gaming spotlight is a little different than most of the ones we do. You know, it isn't a big elaborate game like Betrayal at House on the Hill or Mysterium. It's not a video game like Warcraft, and it's not a RPG type game like Legendary or Munchkin. This is just a fun game for the family to play. It's called Telestrations. It's the telephone game sketched out. I don't understand what that means because I never played telephone, but my wife did, and she said it's exactly like that. It's just on this. Basically, what it is, you've got your little ringed binder here where you use dry erase markers. You get a topic. There's a this side and that side to the card. The difference is this side or that side. It doesn't really matter. You roll a six-sided die and you get the word or phrase that's on the card. Like, we'll use this one for example. So on that side, if I rolled a 3, favorite superhero. So on your board you get your secret word, which on something like that where it says favorite superhero and it's underlined, you actually pick yours and you put it down there. The other ones are like squirt gun, which that would actually be your secret word. But on this one, favorite superhero, I would write down Dr. Doom, because that's my favorite superhero. I'm not going to get into the hero villain thing. So I put down Dr. Doom, and I put my name. So I flip to number 1. I have to sketch Dr. Doom. So I would draw, however I would draw Dr. Doom, I would likely just draw his mask or whatever. And then I have to flip the page, pass it to the next person. Now this is better with the 6 people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still good with 5.
I played. It's good.
Once you get down to smaller numbers, it's not quite as fun because not as much ridiculousness happens. But so what happens is you then pass it to the next person. They flip back to that page. Actually, I guess you don't really need to flip until you get the guess down there. So I sketched. They get it. They have to guess what my sketch is. From there, they pass it along, and the next person looks at what their guess is and sketches out what their guess is. And it just goes around like that until you run out. So it goes guess, sketch, guess, sketch. And then at the end, to get points, you look and you just see if first thing you do is you go to that last page for the guess it to see if they got it right. If they get it right, you get a point, and I believe they get a point as well. And then from there you pick the best sketch, and that person gets a point as well. And then you just add up your points and you just go. It's not that long of a game, which is good. Most of the games we talk about on here are pretty lengthy.
This is a fun like family game,
Exactly.
or like if you have a party and you have a bunch of people over.
Yep.
It's a good game.
But you know, it's super fun. It's relatively inexpensive at the store. I think it's like $13-14. So it's a cheap way to go out, and if you have 5 or 6 people over, or including yourself, because you don't want to sit out. If you have 5 people over, the 6 of you can play, and just it's a lot of fun to see the terrible artwork people have.
God. I'm horrible at drawing.
I am too. The specific things I can draw, like Dr. Doom's mask, would be something I could draw just because it's in my head so much. But and then to see the guesses that people have on those terrible drawings, it's just when you're playing this game, you're bound to just bust out laughing.
And a lot of times, to be honest with you, people are drinking, so it gets really funny.
That's only in his groups. They're all alcoholics. I'm not.
Possibly.
But that's Telestrations. Definitely go pick it up, try it out, see what you think. From there, we'll just we're gonna move on to my classic comic book story. This week's is a big one. Long story. But I'm just gonna stick to the base. The first part of it is Batman Nightfall. This is where Batman gets his back broken.
Well, yep. Bane.
So it starts out. There's actually a couple issues prior to the first part of this.
Don't they have a big issue too? Did they do it in like
a trade paperback?
Yeah, like
yes,
the whole
they did.
The whole story in
Yep,
one book.
they got the whole Nightfall, but there's also Night's Quest, Night's End,
Yeah.
and other things after it. But I'm not going to get into that because the story kind of gets way too long. But the actual Nightfall story itself is really good.
It went from. It was a long long-standing issue, huh?
But it kind of starts before Nightfall starts. There's a couple pre-issues where it shows Bane kind of instructing like the villains to go do stuff, and it basically just he blows up Arkham Asylum to release all the villains, and he wears Batman down. Batman just out there day and night, just putting his body to the limit,
trying to put these people
trying
back
to
in
get
jail.
everybody back into Arkham, or I think they were going to Blackgate because Arkham was still blown up. But so this is all Bane's grand scheme to be able to beat Batman. So Batman's all worn out and tired, and finally Bane comes out and he fights Bane. Bane breaks Batman's back, puts him out of commission. Now there's got to be a Batman. So what happens is, also prior to this, Batman had met Jean-Paul Vallée, who is Azrael, and he gets Azrael to take over as Batman. At first, like the first couple times, it was fine, but Azrael's different than Batman. He doesn't mind killing. He doesn't mind doing things a certain way. He's almost Punisher-like, and that starts to happen in these books, and Batman starts to become like that. Eventually, he starts changing his his gear into an armor almost. Not almost, it is an armor. Batman eventually heals and comes back, and then he's got to take down Azrael. And I mean, if you look, there's the Prelude, Nightfall, Night's End, or Night's Quest, Night's End, and then there's stories after that have to do with it as well. But yeah, so Batman comes back. Eventually, he just outsmarts Azrael because he's Batman and he can outsmart anybody apparently. Azrael's not that hard to outsmart, but you know. But it's a great Batman story. It tells you a lot about the character himself and what he is truly capable of doing in the normal, world of just big strong people, not the superpowered world, but in his world, what exactly he's capable of, and how much he can sustain. He has to go learn how to fight again. He goes to the Lady Shiva, and she trains him, teaches him how to come back and fight more, fight better, and. I mean, my favorite way to do this story, though, is, and it came out shortly after the story did, there's actually a book on tape for Nightfall.
Really?
But it's not someone reading it. It's a full cast audio of Nightfall.
That's cool.
I thoroughly enjoy that. I don't have a tape player, obviously, anymore in my car. But
I'm sure you might be able to get
I think you can get it on CD now. It's a great listen. It's almost, as long as you have an imagination, which if you're reading comic books anyways, you better have an imagination. You can picture it all. They did it with Kingdom Come as well. But the Nightfall one is just so good. I mean, even the sound effects get a little cheesy here and there, but how the hell can you really make a batarang sound? So you got to kind of go out on a limb and understand what's going on. But Batman Nightfall, one of the best stories ever written. For Batman.
A lot of ramifications of Nightfall.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
Because of Azrael. Police didn't trust him. So it ran from 93 to 94, huh?
Well, that's because of all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I think at the time he had 3 different books out a month, which was Batman, Tales of the Dark Knight, and Detective Comics. And I think those are the 3 that the main story, the Nightfall, was in. So you get 3 a month. I think it was 14 issues. I don't remember how many exactly, but so it took like 6 months, I think, at most, to tell the whole main story. And then after that, Night's Quest, Night's End, it was so much. But yeah, so that's Batman Nightfall. Definitely worth reading or listening to if you can get that full cast audiobook. Yeah, so pick it up.
Yeah, it's a good story. I mean, it's one of those classic ones. They kind of use a little bit of the adaptation for Batman. Oh my God, the third Batman movie.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
They take bits and pieces of it in a lot of stuff. The animated series had some stuff with Bane, which they never really straight adapted it, which I'm surprised they haven't done yet. And every time you see Bane in anything now, he's just this big dumb oaf, which I don't like because he's not. That's another thing this
He's
book
a
shows.
genius.
It shows Bane's level of intelligence. You know,
Mhm.
he was born in a prison, but he perfected his body. He got this venom stuff, like which is the poison that goes through his veins to make him stronger when he needs it. And he's just a super smart guy. He's almost as smart as Batman, but he's not.
That's a good story though. Definitely one to read.
Absolutely. So that's that this week, and we'll just head right on into the wrestling recaps this week. Wasn't a whole bunch going on. I mean, there was a pay-per-view, but it was SmackDown only pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the big ones. Clash of Champions. It's a good show. It wasn't great. I was very upset I wasn't able to be there because it was here in Boston.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get to it as much as I wanted to. But you know, the matches were pretty good. I was kind of upset with the Ziggler Rude Corbin match.
Yeah, you text me right away.
How you gonna have Dolph Ziggler win that match? You have Bobby Roode, who is probably one of your top 3 popular guys right now, and you've got Baron Corbin, who's just really freaking good. Whether you like him or hate him for his personality, he is just really good. But you got Ziggler win that match. That was just a letdown. The rest of the night went pretty much as I expected. You know, Charlotte held the title against Natalya. AJ kept the title.
Yeah.
You know,
they did set up a big thing with the last match or the tag team match between Orton and Nakamura versus
KO
and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Not so much that match itself, but the refs
Right.
interjected into each other between
Yeah.
Shane and Daniel Bryan. There's big rumors that next year they want to put Shane versus Daniel Bryan
At
in
WrestleMania?
a SummerSlam match.
Oh, SummerSlam?
So they're trying to get him cleared. So over the next few months, I bet you lots of these things will start to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe they push it before SummerSlam, but that's a big match that they have on tap.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan wants back in the ring. And
He's
he's
been
been cleared
cleared.
by 3 different people, and it's just the WWE guys.
They're being smart.
Yeah. But yeah, so, I mean, that was Clash of the Champions, and then, you know, the next night on Raw, not much happened, really. It was kind of a slow show.
I didn't really watch it, but
Up until the end, you know, during the 6-man or 6-woman tag team match, you know, big match
moves.
broke down.
we've been talking about it for
we
a couple
have.
weeks.
But the match breaks down, and then all of a sudden Stephanie's music hits, and they all stop. And they're like, well, what's Stephanie coming out here for? And she made the announcement that we've been expecting now for a little while, and that there will be an all-women's Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble this year. Now,
It's pretty cool.
one thing they haven't said
It's how many?
is how many, and, you know, really who's going to participate. Now,
Naomi was the
Naomi,
first one
that's
to
Naomi
announce.
entered herself in on Tuesday. And
Charlotte has basically wrote on Twitter and stuff how she's kind of disappointed not to be part of it.
Right. Because she's a champion.
Yeah.
And just like the men's, whoever wins is going to face the champion at WrestleMania.
So speaking of that, on Twitter, which is big in the wrestling community, you know.
Yep.
Trish Stratus wrote, "Oh, where them boots at?" So I won't be surprised if someone like her.
There's going to be surprises. They're
Isn't
not going
it?
to do this and just have it be just who you expect.
Well,
There's going to be people that show up. Lita may show up, I've heard.
Yeah, I don't think there is even 20 women. There might be close
There
to
is,
20
there's
women,
20,
but 2 of them are champions.
Right.
But that means they can bring up NXT. So they could go 30.
They could.
I think it'll be a 20.
I think it'll be 20 for time purposes. Because to have 2 30-person Royal Rumbles in the same night, what else are you going to have? I mean, I don't know what else they're going to do on the Royal Rumble now anyways. I mean, you got the champions who can fight somebody. Brock is going to fight.
There'll be 2 world title matches.
Yeah, AJ and Brock.
There will probably be an IT title match between Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns.
Yep.
Probably not a tag team title match now because Dean Ambrose has had to have surgery.
Yeah, he had to have surgery?
He might miss WrestleMania.
Good God.
Yeah, a lot of injuries.
Well, not just that. I mean, this Shield reunion thing is supposed to be
Oh, yeah.
that big push, but every other month.
So there
someone
was a
getting
lot
hurt.
lot more wrestling than you think
Yeah, I
this
guess
week.
if you think about it.
So that situation. I just honestly, the women's, I think it's pretty cool. Like they've done a lot of first time ever things over this last year or two.
Yeah.
TLC match, Hell in the Cell match, which I was in there
Money
from
in the
Boston. Money in the Bank. So it's really cool. But who do you think's gonna win the women's Rumble?
Asuka.
Nope. I think that it's gonna be Ronda Rousey.
That would be stupid.
That's the
I'm
rumors.
sorry.
That
If she can participate, that's great. If she wins, that is dumb.
So that's the rumors, is that she's gonna be in the Rumble and win it because the rumored match between her and Charlotte at WrestleMania.
I don't even want to see that happen in the Royal Rumble. I mean, I don't mind her, coming in, wrestling, even winning a championship eventually. If she comes in at the Royal Rumble and wins at the Royal Rumble, that's just bad. You need to build that up. You can't just have her come in and be the best in the business.
I mean, realistically, yes, you can.
Well, she's a real fighter, but this isn't real fighting. Look at other people who've come in that just. Ken Shamrock was okay for a little while,
He
but
was good. But Brock
flashed
Lesnar,
out. Brock Lesnar's a different.
Oscar is trained in MMA, so.
But she's a wrestler.
Yeah, but you know what though? Another person that what do you think Ronda Rousey was before MMA? She's a judo person. She's a wrestler.
Yeah.
She did Olympic stuff. So whatever. I get what you're saying.
I think it's terrible.
But,
and it doesn't. Not just because it's her. Just because you can't. To me, the Royal Rumble isn't an event where you just throw someone in and have them win that hasn't been around. This is something that these guys work towards. They try their hardest all year to try and be up there and get the opportunity to win the Royal Rumble. And the other thing is, what's to say that, I mean, I don't know, I don't remember, to be honest, the other matches at the Rumble last year. But what's to say some of these people who are in other matches aren't going to be in that match?
Yeah.
Like, let's say Charlotte fights, just as a guess, Ruby Riott for the title at the Rumble, but that's before the Royal Rumble match. Ruby Riott beats Charlotte. Charlotte comes down to earn a Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Possible.
There's also, they really could go to 30 because they also have people like Bella.
The Bella twins.
Nikki Bella could be in it because she's only cleared for part-time wrestling anyways. She'll be at all the big events.
Brie should be in shape by then.
She's retired for her kids though.
Yeah, but she'll come back for a match.
But it's possible that it's like a lot of surprise things happen.
Yeah.
Former Divas champion Caitlyn has been returned to the ring, so she could be a surprise.
Yeah.
Beth Phoenix has mentioned stuff on Twitter.
Yep.
So I think they could go 30, and they bring the good wrestlers of the past in.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was saying Lita too. I mean, Lita, not that any of those people are gonna win. They're just gonna
be Matt Hardy's in now, and there's a lot of bad blood there.
She still does the announcing and stuff. Not announcing, but like the pre-shows and stuff. But I mean, if any of those people enter, Trish, Lita, any of them, they're not gonna win. But Lita could come in and do some damage.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see Trish in it again.
Yeah,
she's in the shape of her life still.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
it's very exciting. That's next month.
Yeah, 28th of January. And then the only other thing I had was going back to the Dolph Ziggler thing. On Tuesday night, what the hell was that whole thing about? I don't know if you saw it. He comes down and he's talking trash to the crowd, saying they never appreciated him. If you think this is the best thing I ever did, I was an Intercontinental Champion. I think it was 5 times, and they show all the clips of that. I was something else a couple times. They show the clips of that, and I was also a World Champion, and they show the clips of that. And then he's like, you know what? You guys don't deserve me. He puts the belt down in the middle of the ring and leaves.
So I think they gave him the title because one, they've only been signing him to short-term contracts.
Yeah.
They want to keep him. They know the value of him. Even if he's not the winningest wrestler, it's more about the fact that he is he's entertaining. He's a good wrestler in the ring. He's got good moves. He's fun to watch. So they want to keep him, but they know that he's got like one foot out the door almost in New Japan Wrestling. Because he can go to New Japan and be a megastar.
Right.
So it's like they want to keep him, but so they probably throwing him a title to possibly get him going, keep him to stay. The rumor is he's not going to be there for the next 2 weeks to build up this storyline, and then there was a rumor going around that he might actually win the Rumble. So it's like now you're forcing it.
No.
Now you're trying to keep him.
I mean, although I guess a SmackDown superstar can win the Rumble because at WrestleMania Roman's fighting Braun.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be Roman Reigns.
Oh God, please don't have Roman Reigns win the Rumble.
It's either going to be Roman Reigns or a SmackDown superstar.
It could be It's probably gonna be Shinsuke because it's gonna be Shinsuke versus AJ at the Rumble. I mean at the
I'd like to see
WrestleMania.
Bobby Roode.
It's gonna be interesting because this is the first year like you really don't know. Like we knew Roman Reigns was gonna win a couple of years ago. We knew Batista was gonna win.
Well, and we know
we
Roman
had an idea
Reigns has a chance
Randy Orton was gonna win.
Yeah.
I really, please God, don't make Roman Reigns win again. I don't want to see it at all.
Why not?
I want to see a new guy because I don't like Roman Reigns. But I want to see a new person like Shinsuke, like a Bobby Roode. Someone. It's probably gonna be like you said. It's gonna be one of them because we already know most of the matches for WrestleMania already. We've known them for months.
Yeah, we just don't know who AJ's fighting.
Yeah,
they've been keeping it under wraps.
and AJ versus Shinsuke would be a huge match.
Better not be Jinder Mahal.
No, it won't
That would be terrible.
It won't be.
But,
That's done. He's done. It's
AJ versus any of those guys. Orton.
It won't be Orton.
Shinsuke, Roode.
It's either Rude or Shinsuke.
Yeah.
I think it's funny actually to think about that. You could have AJ versus Rude, two major TNA players back in the day, really going at it.
Yep.
Or you throw up a loop and Samoa Joe wins it and goes up against AJ because they're not exclusive to the title that's there.
Yeah, it is. When you win, you fight your.
Back in the day that they changed it. They've actually said it too.
See, no, because I heard them.
Like in rumors,
I'm
saying
that.
not like on the show.
I mean, there's also the possibility that there's another superstar shakeup after the Rumble because that's when they did it last time, right? Was after the Rumble. So maybe they do that again, and Samoa Joe ends up over on SmackDown.
We'll see.
Because I mean, AJ's not going anywhere. SmackDown is a show that AJ Styles built.
AJ Styles is the best in the world.
But it's like whoever wins could end up going over to SmackDown if it's a Raw guy.
And I mean, this isn't it's wrestling recap, so we'll talk a little bit. I think should be. I don't know if you've been watching it or keeping up with it, but the Chris Jericho versus the cleaner Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
The promos have been great. The build up has been great. Chris Jericho is allowed to swear like a sailor in New Japan because they don't have this censorship like the USA does, or with USA Network at least.
Right.
He's swearing up a storm, F-bomb this, F-bomb that. He attacked him in the ring, bloodied him up. Then he hit the longtime announcer that he used to be friends with. And then the next day, Omega attacked him at a press conference. And it just felt like great old school wrestling.
Yeah.
And then, so now that actually the match is a no DQ on January 5th.
Yeah, I heard that.
January 5th. And he actually may wrestle another date for them, too. So it's possible this could be for the title, and he wins the title just to lose it again.
Yeah.
So now that I think they're trying to do that, so that you don't think it's guaranteed that Chris Jericho loses to Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Because if it's a one-off, Kenny Omega's going to win. If it's two off, like there's two. If he's got another date, he'll lose.
Right. I'm trying to pin down my buddy for that interview because he works for New Japan.
Oh.
He told me, he already told me he'll do it. We just got to figure out. I mean, it's been. The past few weeks have been crazy. A few months have been crazy for him, and now we got the holidays, so it might be. I mean, it likely won't be until after that match happens, so I won't be able to.
That's cool though.
Brain on that.
Yeah.
But
a few other things that I kind of read about with NXT too is actually the Revival came back. Both of them finally are healthy on Raw.
Yeah.
Those two, like they've been the last year and a half or so. One gets hurt, the other one, so that it sucks because they're great tag team. They're great old school tag team, and they just keep getting. Come on, there's the same guy that likes Roman Reigns though. So I don't know, whatever. After WrestleMania, there's rumored that No Way Jose is gonna come out.
That's terrible.
He's a
like
big
him.
guy though.
He is a
Have
big
you
guy.
actually seen like?
Yeah,
he's
I'm not a fan
6'5".
of him, though.
He might actually be, what's his name? The guitar player.
Elias.
Elias Sampson. So Elias Sampson never really did good in NXT, but like Triple H said, this guy was never built for NXT. He was roster ready, built the way his character was, the way his body type is.
Yeah.
Triple H actually came out and he goes, this guy, we put him in NXT, but he wasn't an NXT wrestler. He wasn't built for NXT. He was built for the main roster right away.
Right.
Style, villain, heel, you know what I'm saying? All that. So, but No Way Jose's expected to come up. Akam and Reza, authors of pain.
Yeah, AOPs should be a good addition to whichever roster
great.
they go to.
I actually like them.
I don't.
Big guys that can move.
I don't like them. I know that they're good though. You know what I mean? I mean, Paul Ellering's cool. You know, he's always been pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think Authors of Pain are trying too hard to be the Road Warriors just without the pain. You know,
We'll see.
It's a little different.
But I like them.
Oh yeah,
they
they're
can
really
move.
good. They're gonna put some big competition into
And
whatever
then-
division they go to.
Actually, two other women that will probably end up coming up. Are Billy Kay and Peyton Royce.
Yeah.
They could actually come up
They'll be in the
four
Rumble.
in the Rumble.
There's gonna be a lot of NXT in the Women's Rumble.
Well, if
I
they
think
go to
there has
30,
be.
if they go to 30,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
If it's only 20,
Yeah, they can get away without it.
I think it's
but-
kind of. I think it'd be stupid if they only do 20 because they've done 20 women battle royals before.
Yeah.
Do
Right.
30.
Yeah.
Do it. If you're gonna do it big.
Yeah, and if you do that, you get to showcase some of the NXT talent. You
Yeah.
know, Billy and Peyton, Ember Moon, who is extremely talented.
Yeah.
You know, and there's other newer women down there. You know, when Asuka came up and all, and now Ruby Riott and the Riot Squad.
Yeah. Well, that girl,
the other two,
Sarah,
Paige,
whatever her name
Sarah
is,
Logan.
she wasn't even really in NXT. She was like maybe there for a little bit, but
was
she
there for
came
a
like
short
right
period of
up.
time, yeah.
And then Mandy Rose barely was in NXT.
And then you have Liv Morgan, who's been in NXT forever.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, once they all left, they needed to.
You notice they put
replenish.
her on SmackDown.
Yeah.
You know why?
No.
Her and Enzo Amore dated for a while.
Oh,
and
really?
he cheated on her a lot.
But the big one that I wouldn't be surprised to see in the Rumble is Kyrie Rose, the winner of the Mae Young Classic. I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think she won
I
that.
definitely think that they have. If they're gonna do it right. Do the 30. Some people are complaining because they're like, "Oh, that means there's not gonna be, not gonna be that many matches. There's gonna be a lot of time." They have the kickoff shows that they've been using for the last couple of years, anyways.
Well, the big shows usually start at 7.
Yeah.
So you get 4 hours. You know, each of those will take an hour and a half.
And
Gives
they
you
can
an
do
hour
what
to
they
get
did at
3 or 4 other
SummerSlam and
matches.
just do it at 6, like they did at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a really exciting time,
Yeah.
especially women wrestling. A lot of possibilities coming up.
I still say Asuka wins. I mean,
Asuka?
she's. I don't think talent-wise, but as far as story-wise, she is the best wrestler in the females division. Period. Nobody can beat her. She hasn't lost yet in her now almost 3 years of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
For WWE branded stuff. She hasn't lost. I mean, going into the Royal Rumble and losing isn't considered a loss because it's not a one-on-one match. But I mean, you can't make someone that good and then, unless she enters number 1. I think she's going to win. And then she gets to go up against either Alexa or whoever's got the title at the time at WrestleMania. Which I think they've done Alexa a disservice lately, I think, because they've kind of thrown her back to the pack.
Yeah.
She's not...
Well, they've been trying to feature the
Paige.
Page in the group. What's it called?
I don't remember.
Total.
It's
Assumption.
Single, yeah, I don't remember. But at least the Riot Squad is a name that you can remember. It's Absolution.
Absolution. I like Mandy Rose though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens at the Rumble. That's the next big one. So hopefully it's a good event. It always is. I mean, the Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the surprises you get during the match. Now we got 2 of them to be surprised by. So we'll see what happens. Other news, last bit of news for wrestling is Raw 25 is coming up.
Oh yes.
The 25th anniversary. Taker's going to be there.
Yeah, actually, John Cena's too is going to be at
John Cena's going to be there
Raw
week.
this week.
Yeah, but Undertaker's going to be at the anniversary show. There's 2 other Mick Foley, I think, is going to be there, and there was one other person. I don't remember.
Probably Stone Cold or someone.
The Rock. Those guys.
Probably The Rock.
I mean, Stone Cold kind of has to be there. He's one of the guys who made Raw what it is. You know.
Speaking of John Cena, you know why he's probably coming this week? Just to announce that he'll be in the
Oh
Rumble.
yeah, he'll be in the Rumble. That's all, and he won't win it.
I hope not.
And then he'll be off for another 7 months.
Good.
Or,
Just like Roman Reigns. Get him gone.
Oh, shut up. But no, Cena will be back for WrestleMania too, I'm sure. But you know, we'll see what happens. And so I think that's it for this week.
Yeah.
You know, remember, subscribe to our channel. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think about my top 10. There was no Cinnamon Stardom, so you can't tell us what you thought about that this week. And you know, just tell us what you do and don't like, and we'll go from there.
All right.
All right.
Have a good
week.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.
Talk to you soon. Bye.